Hello everyone, how's it going? Henry here, and welcome back to another Flight Simulator 2020 video. Today we're going to be looking at the activities in the sim, and more specifically the landing challenges. We will go over the bush trips later on in another separate series. But today, let's get cracking. So we have three categories here. We got famous, epic, and strong wind. We're going to try them all today. Let's get started off with famous. So again, we do have a few famous approaches here, from good old Toronto all the way up to JFK, all the way to Jackson, etc. So let's get flying. All right, so today I obviously chose starting off Toronto. So yeah, if you guys have not seen any of the videos or anything else yet, our goal is to land on this little mark here as close as we can with the shortest ground roll and the most gentle landing as possible. Let's give that a go. It's a nice loading screen, you know, and they have your general approach speeds, you have your wind gauge, everything else. Obviously, we're not going to be following the speeds to the mark today because, again, we're trying to get a higher score, so that means we're going to try to get a little bit slower of an approach if possible. So let's give this a go and just see how smooth we can make our landing. There we go. All right, so we are in the sim now. So we are coming up to good old Toronto. We're not going to be using autopilot or any of that likes today. Oh my gosh, just give me a second to get this freaking locked in here. And there we go. Okay, so we're finally loaded all in here. As you can see, we're just about to join the final approach for Toronto. We're not really doing a normal approach today. So in the loading screen, you got like the 110 knots, 80 knots, etc. We're going for as slow of an approach as we possibly can here to see how we can score as much points as possible.
Landing gear.
Let's get full flaps, gear down. Alright, so let's try and final, and then let's start to get used to that wind here. Now personally, I'm going to try to go a little bit slower, probably around 80 knots, just a little bit slower. Probably even creep down to 70. Just a wee little bit slower. Because again, with the landing challenges, your roll does count as well. So we're going to have to try to keep that centered. Low roll. I can get 70 knots here. So I'll try descent rate. Because of course that counts too. The nice thing about the challenges is that leading up to the landing, they don't really care how you do it, as long as you get your points. So I'm assuming some people use autopilot, auto land, etc. But we're not going to do that today. We're using the good eyeballs and ears and hands to get the aircraft on the ground. So 70 knots, that's what I'm going to aim for. 350 down. Let's get a little bit more speed because we are a little bit lower on the approach. Get back to 900 feet here. There you go. That's more like it. So yeah, the nice thing, again, they kind of start you off with finals, so it gives you a lot of time to adjust your approach, everything else. So there you go, it's just under 1,000 feet, 900. There you go. The most important thing is definitely use your trim here if you're doing this computer assisted. Gear down check, flaps full. Let's do it. Alright, let's try to get back on a center line here and correct for that. So if we look up and over, you can kind of see our first main markers there. Try to get down a little bit slower if possible. And I'm actually aiming for the numbers because I'm not landing at the numbers, I'm starting my flare at the numbers. So pretty much as soon as I know I can pretty much make the runway there, I'm over the numbers. We can power on off. I'm doing it a little bit slower because we are a little bit lower. Kind of land right before the markers. We're on approach. A little bit of a float, but you know what? We made it. I don't remember if this plane has reversers or not. I don't think it does. But yeah, it's just using gear. So our landing precision there was 499. Damn, everyone. You saw me do that. That was legit. We're 417th in the world. 77 feet per minute. Ground roll was our only issue. Again, I was trying to think what we could do about that besides standard weaving. I'm not sure if this guy has any reversers, but you know what? That was a pretty good start for our first landing precision without autopilot or anything. Let's try the next one. Let's try something a little bit larger. Let's try Jackson with a good old Cessna here. So here we are. We're going to Jackson now. So maybe we can go meet Ellie and Joel from The Last of Us. Sorry for the reference. All right, so that was a good start off to our little landing challenges here. So now we're in our little Cessna citation. We already have our gear and flaps down. A little bit different here. We don't have any synthetic vision anymore. However, we do have our runway already nicely in sight without a sun blinding us. So let's give it a go here. Let's slow it down. We're already rocking 170 knots. Pretty much powered down there. On average, it's like a 110 final approach, I believe. But let's kind of go for around 90 knots and see what we can kind of accomplish with this. Again, since we are using a turbine aircraft, since we are using our wonderful little jet aircraft, it's going to be a little bit different than a turboprop, but let's see just how good we can make this landing. So, 134 knots, gear down, check. Full landing laps, check. Full landing laps, that's new. So let's start off a little bit higher here because we are a jet. We can fall out of the sky a lot more efficiently. We do have spoilers that can help us slow down post-landing, so let's see if this kind of high approach here gets us a little bit better market. The big concern for this guy is that we're going to have less visibility over the hood here when we land, so I'm just trying to keep the runway and that marker in my field of vision for as long as possible. Again, we're going to aim for the numbers. Gonna expect us to float a little bit more than before, but we pretty much already have our wind inputs and everything else. So again, no autopilot, no auto landing, no nothing here. 107 knots. Let's see if we can get that down to 90 knots. Just gonna wait for a short final before using some spoilers here. There we go. Engine is pretty much off. Gonna add a little bit more power to watch out that descent rate. A little bit high for the final approach here. Gonna add some power right after here. We are playing with stalling. Let's see. A little bit too much, but if we can just get a wee little bit full power off. Spoilers. Gonna be okay. That's a little bit too rough there, but you know what? I think it's alright. We definitely got the center line down. Just didn't get the approach. Yeah, so there you go. So precision was a bit off. Smoothness was okay. That was a little bit rough there, but our ground roll was a lot better this time. Alright, let's try some epic challenges now. You know, some good old kind of epicness. Always good. What can we do today? I would definitely love to give... Let's give Bugalaga. Let's give Bugalaga a go here. So the nice thing is that we do have a headwind, well, headwind to the right a little bit. We do have 13 knots, so if we can use that to our advantage, slightly come in on this side over here, we can use that wind to help us keep a little bit slower and hopefully use up a little bit less runway. Let's pull that one off. So as we fly overhead here, let us get us all set up here. We do have our wind input. You can actually already see it on the Garmin set up, so we do have our 13, 14 knots there. There we go. Alrighty, so thank you. Let's start to power down a wee little bit here. So, make sure okay. So we're going to use that hill over to our left as kind of a marker. So start to power down a bit. Flap down. Pretty much before this cloud here, let's just increase our rate of descent. Start our turn. And I'm actually not going to do what the diagram said, so our radar altitude is active now. Nice. So that's us down there. Still a little bit high, but you know what? We can pretty much go engines off at this point because we do have that 13-14 knot headwind. So our ground speed is indeed slower. It's just our indicator is showing 80 knots. So our ground speed is actually slightly different. Oh wait, we actually have our true air speed right below. That's great. What am I doing? I don't even have to explain this stuff. All right. Let's eat off some of that airspeed with a little bit more G's here. You can actually try slip in as well. There you go, perfect. So that let off all that extra airspeed. I'm just gonna use that wind advantage. Oh. Oh, sim's acting up. Nope. A little bit more. Full power, full power, full power. Oh. Okay, so I didn't even need to use the hill there. It's alright. I think at the end there you saw we were getting a little bit of sim buffering. That's kind of a weird little thing. But you know what? Hey, we landed safely. We didn't even have to use the hill. So let's go over to France here and do this classical one. Alors bonjour, bienvenue à COURCHEVEL. I would actually love to go here in real life. It looks so beautiful with the mountains. And again, like, I know I was tough with my review, but the game does look gorgeous, you know? It's great to have that extra, like, VFR attention spent to the game. Alright, so let's give this a go here. So we can already see the airport in the distance. So again, we're not using the cadet like the event. We're using our good old... Oh, I got a text. Text and fly, kids. That is how you be successful. Just kidding. Don't do that. Alright. So I'm not quite sure if they have like the turbulence from the mountains simulated. I assume they do. Alright, so we got main runway in sight. We can kind of start our turn in. Let's make sure that we've got a good establishment of our
landing gear. Landing gear.
Yeah.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Not doing gear yet. Start lead to speed. There we go. Now the issue with this guy is that the runway does go upslope. So we are going to have to take that into account as well. Okay. In all honesty, I just want to be as straight as possible for our final approach. So I don't mind being a little bit higher on this one. But we do have to look out for that illusion because it is on a hill. Okay. So let's go for a little bit faster. Let's try around 80 knots. Off. Maybe we can kind of do a light slip in here. Kind of kill some of that little excess speed here because we want as short as ground roll as possible. There we go. At least we have the sun to our backs this time. That's good. Alright, let's look over the panel here. Alright, this is good. Let's try to keep that 80 knots though until we're over the threshold. So I'm kind of aiming for the end of the threshold markers. I'm gonna make like a slow flare here. Again, that illusion really does get you like that you're high because it's on that slope. So a little bit more power. Please hold up. And
Stall.
there we go. Pull back. Full brakes, everything else. See how we did. Alright, not that bad. 266, ground roll, not bad at all. Precision was alright. So, honestly, for one of the most popular landings, I think that's pretty good. It was pretty decent. Let us go take a look at another. Alright, so under the strong wing challenges, I think we can easily end our day on a good old classic INNSBRUCK in Austria. It's just a classic approach, you know, for 747. Let's give it a go. pretty much same as that one mission from Flight Sim X. But of course, let's give it a go without an autopilot today. Let's just kind of use our eyes and ears, aim for that 140 knots. I'm not gonna screw around with that airspeed too much because it is a little bit of a difficulty in the sense that your cabin's a lot higher than the ground, so it's easy to think you're still too high. Meanwhile, your mains touch the ground and you break a gear. So let's see if we can get a decent flare starting before the numbers, because I know that I'm a little bit more floaty with the big planes. Alright, let's give this guy a go. So as we can see here, we're already in our 747 here. We're already set up. Let's take a quick look outside today. It looks beautiful. We're going to be dealing with a lot of winds from the mountains though. So, already trying to slow down here. Let's get our airspeed around 160 and then we can get our flaps fully in. Gear down. Go over the hood. Nice. Pardon me, runway in sight. Let's kind of get set up here on a straightaway. Now, especially with these larger aircraft, I know I bubble a lot, especially at final, so it's always got to remember that, especially on final approach, that we use our throttle to detect our altitude and our attitude to look after our speed. So if we're a little bit slow, you go a little bit nose down. If we're a little bit too high, got to take some throttle off. All right, let's back in here, and actually let's see if we can make our life a little bit easier. Nice. So as usual, this is not how you do a normal approach in one of these guys. Not that I would know. But we're already kind of counteracting our wing component. Let's just get a little bit more throttle in, because we are starting to get a little bit low. Actually, it's not too bad. As long as we're able to keep things consistent. Pretty good. Gear confirmed down. We already have our full flaps in. Full fraps. Frappuccino, coffee maker confirmed. And we'll just keep this approach running a little bit high, so bring that nose back, bring the airspeed down a little bit. Man, you must feel so powerful if, like, for people that fly these in real life. I mean, just like a flying city block here. Alright, so before we get too sloppy here, the nice thing about 747, we do have some wonderful thrust reversers here that are going to help us out. A little bit high, let's reduce that power a little bit more. And we do have to watch our descent rate, so let's add some more power. I'm gonna start to flare over the numbers here.
200.
Come on, you can do it. 100.
100. 50.
Oh, pull back.
30.
Pull back.
20.
10.
10.
Full thrust, reverse. Full thrust, reverser. Oh, I accidentally pressed the N on the spoilers. Oh! Come on. You can do it, plane. Oh, that choppiness, isn't it beautiful? Okay. It's apparently smooth. Just not smooth enough. Somehow we're 343rd in the world. I don't believe that. It's top 10. Good job, Hi Broa. Nice. Alright, so we're rocking. Probably go a little bit closer there. We do have a 20 knot. Pretty much crosswind there, eh? Jeez, it's gonna make things interesting. We're gonna be landing almost sideways here, folks. It's actually not that bad, but actually no, that's pretty bad. Just wish that start off of flights can be a little bit more smoother, but you know what, whatever. So I'm pretty sure we already have the runway in sight. Yes, we do. Alright. So let's use that mountain to our advantage here. Let's make sure full mixture that we do. Beautiful. Alright, could probably even kind of go around 45 knots to 50 just to keep our aircraft a little bit slower. We do, as you can see on the Garmin, we do have that input of that wind already rocking and rolling. Should still be up, rocking and rolling. It is a windy day to fly. Let's get down on the ground, safe and sound. Alright. Keep it at around 1,000. There we go. So if you ever have a G1000, just use your handy little wind indicator here. Alright, so that little, I mean, like, it looks more like a road than an actual spot to land a plane, but alright, so pretty much as soon as we turn here, we're gonna get our butts kicked by this wind coming from this little valley area here. Alright, so let's kind of use this to our advantage here. I mean, like, it's one of those moments where it looks like you're barely moving. Let's use our full flap. 60 indicated. A few gusts. I mean, like, I know I complain that there's no helicopters in the game, but I feel like at this point I am a helicopter. It's great. I'm not really too concerned about it being high right now. And altitude, I mean, just following this wind down. I mean, like, as soon as we hit this corner, we're just gonna go flying here, quite literally. Oh, that wind just takes you. Oh boy. Come on. Oh no, we overshot. We're just gonna go into this guy's garage. Okay. Yeah, as soon as we hit that tailwind, like, we just got blown away. That was hilarious. Okay, yeah, I'm done for the day, guys. This is great. You know, it's some fun things. Like, I definitely hope that they keep on putting out cool challenges like this. But yeah, I guess we'll just try the bush activities next. But until then, fly safe and happy landings.